Well, good evening, everyone.
Good
Welcome to
evening.
our April board meeting. Um, Perry, if you could give us a quick roll call and call us to order, I sure would appreciate it.
Absolutely. President Joe Plunk,
Present.
Vice President Tyler Henley,
Present.
Secretary Perry Hayes, present. Treasurer Jim Martin, immediate past President Ty McMahon, Director of Programs Adam White,
Present.
Director of Meetings and Special Events Scott Adams,
Present.
Director of Publications Mike Harrison,
Present.
Director of Training Joe Lowenthal,
Here.
and Club Repeater Trustee Dan Fleek.
Here.
All right, we do have a quorum, Mr. President.
Fantastic. Thank you, Perry. Appreciate that. So with that, we'll slide into new business. Appreciate everybody joining us. Just a couple of quick reminders. I appreciate everything that everybody is contributing to the club. I just want to acknowledge that it is a volunteer organization, and a lot of us have a lot of other things that we're doing, and this is a hobby for us. And I just appreciate greatly the time and the effort and energy that everyone's poured into the club. We all have our moments when we pour into it more than others, and I just want to take just a second and just call out Dan for just a second. He's poured a lot in for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months to really pulling us and kind of taking care of some things that over the past needed some taking care of. And he's poured a lot in, and I just want to acknowledge, not call him out, but just say, hey, it is seen and acknowledged that you've been pouring in a good measure, and thank you for that. And then for everyone else, not to say, hey, you're not doing anything either, but just say we all do our parts, and it'll all have our moments when we have our times where we pour in extra. All right. Thank you, everyone. I believe, Perry, you have circulated minutes that need review and approving. Has everyone gotten a copy of those? Do we need to make any edits to the? Go ahead. Does anyone have any edits to the minutes? All right. Hearing that we have no edits or no discussion for the minutes, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made by Mike,
Second.
seconded by Adam. Fantastic. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Fantastic. Thank you. And I would be remiss before we go much longer. I do want to acknowledge we do have a guest, John Reiner's with us. He's on the agenda later in the evening, but would be remiss to not acknowledge him. So I apologize for that, John. Thank you for joining. All right, let's head into membership renewals and new applications. So, Jim's, go ahead. Jim sent over this list of renewals, and they're all renewals at this time that he received. A couple of these we received at the last meeting, and I have got the money to deposit, and that's why he's showing them as deposit pending, but the money is in hand. Is there any discussion around the renewal of these members? All right, hearing no discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve the renewal of the members as presented.
I make a motion that we approve the renewal of all of these membership applications.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mike.
Okay.
All right, so the motion made by Perry to approve the membership renewals as presented, seconded by Mike. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Motion carries. All right, just checking. I haven't seen Jim pop in, so I will walk us through his report. Can everybody see that okay? I tried to make it as large as I could make it. We had total dues received of $85. We had other deposits totaling $50 for the sale of a Mirage amplifier. Total deposits came to $135. We had no checks or debits or withdrawals for the month. So our ending balance was $16,105.15. Any questions on that? All right. Our small business CDs are as shown here. Interest is good and interest is accruing. Any questions on our small business CDs? If I can answer them, I'll try. Otherwise, we'll have to defer. All right. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve our treasurer's report.
Yeah.
So, Jim just asked if we're using Google, so he must be having difficulty getting in as well.
Perry, could you forward him the link? I just sent him the link. I was able to cut and paste it. Thank you, Perry. Right here. Sharing. All right. Admit. Good evening, James. As you say on your Zoom screen. Hey, Jim.
Hey, sorry for the confusion. I obviously I had an old link that I was dealing with, and a Google Meet link.
Goodness.
All right, Barry, thank you so much for.
I had.
I'm sorry. What's
Go
there?
ahead. I had just presented your report, but if you want to go walk us back through it, that would be fantastic.
Oh, okay. All right. So this month we only had a few renewals. Well, technically 7. 3 of them were would be received too late for a deposit in March, so they will be reflected on next month's report. So those are the 3 at the top there. Otherwise, we had $85 deposited to the account for the 4 memberships, one of them being a family membership. And then we also had a $50 deposit that Mr. Lowenthal deposited to Regions on our behalf for the sale of an amplifier. So a total of $135 in deposits. We had no withdrawals, no checks. I do have a couple outstanding checks that that will hopefully hit the account and clear soon, and then we'll be all set for this coming month.
Speaking of that, where is mine?
Looks like it's on the screen.
What are you waiting
I'll
for?
bring it to them.
I forwarded it to Joe to give his second signature, and I guess it's on its way.
I'll bring it to you tomorrow morning, Joe. I need to stop by
Right.
and see you anyway. It got the United States Postal Service at our home gets in does not get expedient attention. So I apologize that it got in the we will look at that sometime in the future pile.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Fleek, you should have, or please tell me that you've received a check from me. Because I did forward a check to you for the reimbursement of the cable that had to be ordered from DX Engineering. Sorry, Dan, did you receive that by chance?
I gotta check my inside mail delivery.
Okay.
It may have showed up.
Okay, those were sent a couple of weeks ago, so maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay.
So hopefully you've gotten that. Hopefully it's not lost. Maybe I should just drop by your house and put it in your door. Anyway, so we started the month with a total of $15,970.15 in our checking. And then with our $135 in deposit, we ended the month with $16,105.15. The CDs are in good shape. Got one that will mature in August 22nd, and the other will mature October 22nd. So they continue to earn interest at a favorable rate of 4.16%, 4.25 APY. I did file our IRS return, or the e-postcard. So that's been completed, and I've uploaded those documents to our share drive. And I was unable to do the ones for the state yet because we were not within 90 days of the renewal period. Ironically, I checked it again today, and today I guess it's 90 days of, within 90 days of June 30th. So I will get those filed and the documents uploaded to our Google Drive as well. President Plunk, you will probably get an email when I submit it because it will require 2 signatures. And so you'll get an email to electronically sign a copy, and then I will get notification when that's been completed, and that's when I'll upload it. Or
Okay.
I'll
I will look for that.
in our share drive. And that's it.
All right.
I don't-
Fantastic.
I
Thank
don't
you for that,
have any
Jim.
other, I don't have any other bills that have been presented or anything. So look forward to next week's meeting and getting back on track. So thank you all for anybody who's stepped in to assist while I was out sick.
Well, Jim, thank you. That's a lot of things that you're taking care of for us, both the IRS and the state of Tennessee Secretary of State. We appreciate that greatly. Thanks for the monthly effort that you put into the reports. And
I've also been documenting more of those steps that are involved in filing these reports for my successor to be able to transition a little bit easier. So
that is very much appreciated. They will appreciate that, and we will appreciate that, so that nothing gets dropped in the cracks or missed. So thank you very much for that.
good deal. Thank
With
you.
that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying thank you for allowing me to present my information.
We appreciate your service to the club. You have served for a while. Any news on your apprentice?
Nope, I've had nobody
An
approach me yet.
apprentice?
Nobody's approached me yet, but I will I'll pull a Mike Harrison and make an announcement at the meeting saying that I'm looking for somebody.
All right.
Come help.
Is your wife interested in taking
Indeed.
it?
Is my wife interested?
Yeah.
Laura, are you interested?
Ham.
She says she's not a ham.
Oh,
I don't know if that matters or not.
I haven't been.
We could-
Details.
Yeah, she
we
needs
could
to.
fix that we could fix that pretty easily. We've got a fantastic director of training that could fix that.
All right.
All that said, you missed the opening that I was acknowledging that, we are a volunteer organization, Jim, and everybody serves and gives time, some more than others, and you give time every month above and beyond, and we just appreciate that, and we just are thankful for it.
It's my pleasure.
With that, we need to approve our treasurer's report as submitted. I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'll make a motion that we approve the report as discussed.
Tyler, you going to second?
I'll second.
All right. Mike Harrison made a motion to approve the treasurer's report as submitted, and Tyler has seconded that motion. With that, all in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Real quick, just a point of business. Does anybody have any bills that they need to present for payment? I don't think we do, but I'll make sure we don't miss anything. Go ahead.
I just sent Mr. Treasurer a bill for $69.04 for the Pi 4B that went on the 8.2.
All right.
Okay.
I will look out for that. Thank you. I have a check.
Scott, go ahead.
I'll need some, we'll need to figure out if we need to get a check or get we talked about a debit card possibly.
Talk about a debit card or possibly a loaded gift card.
Okay.
We could certainly do a loaded gift card for that, and then that could be used to take care of and be tied to the non or the tax exempt status.
Right.
Does anyone on the board have any discussion or thoughts around loading a gift card for Scott? So that could then be tied to the tax exempt.
I mean, I could use something similar to avoid paying taxes when I order some of these things. I mean, I guess I can still send a check.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't have any problem with it.
It'll probably
I mean,
make Scott's job easier since he shops almost every month.
Yeah, I need to really shop this month.
I think so.
I don't have anything. So I really need to make a purchase before.
Okay.
So we need to come up with something. So
Can
I can go shopping with them.
okay, you want to make me a
that
costume?
works? That works too. They do take checks.
We won't have two signatures though.
Yeah, we need a signature from you, Joe.
I can work something out with that. I can meet y'all in the middle or meet you there, whichever one we want to do. I'm flexible. And then what we can do is at that shopping trip, we can go ahead and purchase the gift card for the next shopping trip. And then reload it as we need. Does that seem like a workable arrangement, everyone?
Yeah. Do we know that we'd be able to make a purchase of a gift card with our tax exempt status? Do we know for sure that would work?
I don't know.
So the gift card technically doesn't incur tax when you purchase the gift card. When you use the gift card, my understanding of gift cards is when you actually use the gift card, that's when they assess tax. So for our intents and purposes, we would purchase the gift card. It's going to not have tax assessed. And then when we swipe the gift card, we show that we have tax exempt status. They wouldn't assess tax on the gift card. That's my current understanding. Now, it could be totally wrong.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if that was a possibility, since they normally were looking for, or from what I was reading, the state was looking for a method of payment that was in the name of the club. And since a gift card doesn't have a name on it, I wasn't sure if that would.
I don't think it will, because it's not tied to a bank account with EIN.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We could certainly talk about a debit card that has some risk associated with it, and I don't know if we want to dive down that rabbit hole tonight. Probably the easier thing, guys, might be, hey, we just all meet there and we sign a check. we talk about the debit card next month,
Okay.
or we can talk about it now. I mean, we've got a full agenda, and I want to try to not take all of the time tonight. I can put
We
that
can
on
take
the
a few
agenda for
minutes next
month.
week. I can do a little research, and then next week when we have the regular club meeting, maybe at the end, a few of us can get together and talk
Absolutely.
about options. That way we're not
That's certainly
spending a lot of
fair
time
option.
tonight. Okay.
Certainly. Scott, what day do you typically go shopping?
Well, I was going to go this weekend, but since it's going to rain, maybe Sunday afternoon.
Okay. Do you go to the Costco out over by Wolf Chase?
Yes, I do. I can go to that.
Okay.
Um,
Just let me know. That's close to both you and Jim. If y'all will let me know when that's going to happen, I'll just make sure to show up, and we'll take care of everything right there on the spot.
okay. We'll plan for Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon. The only thing that I have Sunday afternoon is I've got to be at Herb Parsons Lake at 2:00. Do you think it'll be late afternoon or early afternoon?
We could do, what about Monday evening?
I'll make it work.
Yeah, that would probably work for me as well.
Okay. Monday evening, say 6:30.
All right.
Sure.
Oh, works.
Okay, 6:30.
All right, 6:30.
All right, sirs. Fantastic. All right. Adam, just real quick, if you'll bring us up to our meeting topics for next month. Thank you, everyone, for that quick discussion on taking care of bills. Were there any additional bills? I apologize. I moved too quickly away from that. Any additional bills? All right. Adam, our membership meeting topics for next month.
This month, April, is going to be the Deep Space Exploration Society. It's a group out of Colorado. Roger Oakey, W3MIX, is giving it. And then May is going to be Ed Fong. And might try to coordinate a group buy of Ed's antennas around that time. So
That is tremendous. All right. Well, thank you for that. We'll head over any additional questions on our membership meeting topics. All right. We'll head into the committee reports. Bylaws has no reports at this time. I haven't heard from Mary Jean on that one. I know she's been very busy with school. All right, Dan, you want to talk to us a little about some of the repeater updates?
Yeah, spent a lot of work on it in the last week. The 35 amp Astron has a problem that powers the Crescend amp. So we pulled it out, and Joe graciously loaned us the use of his 35 watt MFJ. So it's powering the amp. I imagine just from reading through the documentation, that's a very self-fixable power supply. So it's probably one of the power transistors. So I got a troubleshooting guide to go through on it. Joe, man, thanks a lot for all the help trying to figure out. Our repeater dropped off Brandmeister on Wednesday morning, and we pulled our hair out trying to figure out what it was, and we spent 2 nights working on it. And we found out that T-Mobile on 5G is their content packet inspection is whacking UDP connections. So we wound up figuring that, guessing that was probably the issue, and we backed the hotspot down to 4G and changed it to another APN, and it worked. So that was, we think maybe Ryan Kaiser or RET may have come into the same problem. I haven't talked to him yet. and he may have done the same thing because they use the same type of router setup to get the ham WAN onto the regular internet. Had been waiting for a month or so for Alan and Michael to free up and bring out the All-Star hardware, and it just so happened we had a window on Sunday to do it, and we got it set up, and it sounds great. Everything is remote controllable, including the audio settings on it. In fact, when we hooked it up, I looked over and Michael was sitting there with his phone going like this. And I said, "Are you changing audio settings with your phone?" He said, "Yep." And so, um, it works pretty good. So there's no CWID. It's all voice ID. The squelch burst when some radio's unkeyed is gone. It's I was going to listen to the net last night, and I was riding fire truck, and we got a call about 10 minutes into the net, so I missed the rest of it. But it seems like I was shocked to find out that Tyler was in Collierville calling the net, and there was no static on it. I mean, there was background
I was
hiss.
in Somerville.
You were in Somerville, yeah, and it was there's no static crackle on it. So I got to listen to a couple nights and see if maybe the old controller was part of our crackling issue. And I think the net has started. I asked if we could have John talk, and maybe we'll talk a little bit later at the end about how to handle weather nets when they coincide with the 8 p.m. net. So, and I did make a trip out to University of Memphis on Friday morning, snapped a picture of the serial number on the repeater, and got to meet the electronic shop guys and get their phone numbers and ask them when I can call them and when can we get out there. So that went pretty good. And it looks like we can, if we need to hook anything up to the internet, we have it right there. So it was a pretty good trip. The 443.2, man, I could key that thing up from down by the river. It's working very well, so not going to touch it for a little bit.
Got some good legs, it sounds like.
Yep. So gotta let things stabilize, go to a couple ham fests, make a personal trip, and then maybe we can get up and go get the 220 repeater back up and running here next month.
All right. Any questions on what Dan had to report back to us, anyone? All right. We'll move into kind of some new topics. Mike, I want to call out that Sparks is this weekend. The sooner we can get our information into Mike, the better more he appreciates it. Mike has had someone step up and volunteer to step into his role. So I know that he is working to train that person. So the earlier we can get our Sparks articles in, the better. That would give him more time to train someone. So that would be very appreciated. And I am just as guilty as anyone. I've been the last one many times. So I am pointing four fingers at me, trying to get myself motivated to get my articles to Mike before anyone else. I do ask and encourage all of us to try to send Mike an article about something. It just puts fresh content into the Sparks, and I very much appreciate it. I know Adam and Tyler and Dan, y'all are all sending stuff in, so I appreciate it. appreciate any article that you throw over towards Mike's way. It just makes for an interesting and enlightening sparks. That renewals, I know Jim touched on that earlier. That our renewals and new membership, we didn't have any new memberships, but we had several renewals. Just encourage any member that you run into to go ahead and get their renewal done and ask someone to join our club. With that, we'll also circle to the agenda item that we have our guest to talk to us real quick. So, John, I think Dan asked you and relayed to me to talk about ARES and the National Weather Service. If you could give us just a few minutes of your time and kind of bring us up to speed on that, the National Weather Service and the Delta Club involvement and the ARES involvement and how all that fits together and how all that's expected to work, we sure would appreciate that.
Let me make sure I'm unmuted here. Yeah, basically, if you look at the ARRL's memorandum of understanding with the National Weather Service, down in section 5, subset A, it's the American Radio League agrees to encourage its volunteer field organization appointees, especially the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, to contact and cooperate with Regional Weather Service headquarters for the purpose of establishing organized skywarn networks with radio amateurs serving as communicators and spotters. And then in section B, it says that the ARRL further agrees to encourage its section management teams to provide specialized communications and observation support on an as-needed basis for National Weather Service offices in other weather emergencies such as hurricanes, snow, heavy rainstorms, and other severe situations. And then in section C, it says the National Weather Service agrees to work with ARRL section amateur radio emergency service volunteers to establish skywarn networks and other specialized weather emergency alert and relief systems. The principal point of contact between the ARRL section and local National Weather Service offices is the Meteorological Services Division of the appropriate National Weather Service regional office, which is the Memphis office here. So all that basically says is that they really encourage us to support the National Weather Service, and the National Weather Service agrees to work with us. And I am just super proud of how the Delta Club has stepped up and taken this challenge on head on, and has been just extremely supportive. It's not been without challenges, but we are finally in a place where I feel really comfortable with how things are going, and we've had a lot of successful practice nets as of late, and then unfortunately we've had a lot of actual activations, which we're anticipating some more tomorrow. And with that in mind, the timing of the severe weather tomorrow, they said on this morning's slide, was between 4 p.m. and 2 a.m. And if you look at where we are in the 55 county area, if it's starting around 4, to our west in eastern Arkansas, I think it's safe to say that there would probably be a weather net going on tomorrow evening about the same time as the nightly Delta net. So, we don't want to take anything away from the Delta net or anything like that, but at the same time, just kind of want to work out an understanding of what's expected on both sides of the fence there.
All right, thank you, John. Speaking of the Delta net, we could certainly have several options. We do have a secondary frequency. We could certainly move the net to the secondary frequency. We have the option to suspend for the evening and just pick it up the next evening. But anyway, we can talk about those in a minute. Excuse me. Does anyone have any questions for John as related to the National Weather Service and the relationship that the National Weather Service has with both Aries and the individual clubs that are out there supporting and assisting in the weather nets that are being activated.
I don't think we should be, the net should be excluded just because there's a net all across the area. We don't reach out to all the areas that the National Weather Service covers.
Valid.
I mean, there
So
there are other repeaters that are connected to the DMR network that people can go to if they're interested in the in it.
And that's a very valid point as well. I do know that what that would require then is that would require a net control operator or someone to make a judgment call about whether or not they are making a decision as to whether the weather is in or out of our region, out of our coverage area. And, you know, one of the things that might just, I don't want to say easier, but a little simpler that doesn't require a judgment call is just, hey, if there's an active weather net at 8 o'clock, just hop on the main frequency and say, hey, the nightly net's moved to the secondary frequency. And that way the secondary frequency gets exercised every once in a while and doesn't get ignored. And it doesn't have to require a judgment call to say, well, I didn't think we were still in the area. I don't know. I open the floor to support or the discussion. I just put my idea out there. Joe has his idea. Let's hear some others.
Well, the Skywarn Net Control is going to have to make those announcements.
Skywarn Net Control can make that, or the other thing is our net control operator can check in with the Skywarn Net Control and say, hey, can I take the frequency for just a minute? And as long as there's not an active announcement being made, I think that works well and could work well. But anyway, any other?
Well, there needs to be more than one announcement. The
Absolutely.
other night,
I think
Mike made it 7 minutes before the net, and a lot of people don't get on until, 8 o'clock or after. So there needs to be some multiple announcements made during the
Don't
weather
disagree
net.
at all.
Yeah.
Is there a way
At the top of the hour.
Is there a way to do that over the phone, like you were talking about, Dan?
Oh,
I'm not well versed in that technology, so I'm just.
I can look at some of that, but it's probably pretty easy just to tell the net controllers, hey, if it's 8 o'clock, make an announcement 5 before and 5 after the hour or something like that. And also, people aren't used. It's been what, 8 years since we were doing WeatherNet, so a lot of people aren't used to it again, and so some of it's getting them used to it too. So, but I don't think it would be an unreasonable ask. Michael's pretty open, I think, to any suggestion that we have. Well, whatever we want to do, it's our repeater, so.
Yeah. And Joe, I do
Ultimately.
absolutely agree. I do absolutely agree that it does need to have multiple announcements. I think top of the hour for sure, and for sure at least 5 minutes after the top of the hour. And one other one wouldn't hurt. Just so that people aren't
at the top of the hour, and then about 2 or 3 minutes after, because that's when you get through the preamble and start taking check-ins.
Yes, sir.
I
have to admit, I have been one of those that turns the radio on at 2.5 minutes after the top of the hour.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good. Right at 8, and then about 3 minutes after.
I would also like a little time, not a lot, just 5 minutes or so at the Delta Club meeting, if possible, to talk about some of this, so that people know what to expect. And, if they turn on their radio at 8:01 and they don't hear the preamble going, not to just start keying up and talking and go over some other etiquette things as well. I can't say that I've heard anyone from Delta Club violating any of our etiquette procedures, but we have had instances, and it'd just be a good opportunity to remind people. Like, we have people the last few weeks that they'll just throw their call out, and as they're throwing their call out, we'll also provide their weather report instead of pausing and waiting on net control to call back for their report. Or we've had people report third-party information like, hey, I'm watching YouTube and I saw damage over in Arkansas. I mean, that's not the kind of stuff we need. So so it might just be a good opportunity to inform people about what's going on, and kind of hammer home the listen first, talk later, which we should all be doing anyway. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, John. All good discussion. Appreciate it. Appreciate the roundtable. I think that if I had to sum this up as the consensus, I think the consensus is, and we haven't decided on a consensus of whether it's a cancel or go to secondary frequency, but I do think that the consensus is there needs to be multiple announcements, top of the hour, a couple minutes after the hour, and then one more following, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes after the top of the hour. Any other discussion on that? And then we'll try to reach a consensus as to what we think as far as move to secondary or cancel.
Yeah. Just a couple observations. This is probably the worst weather we've had in a good while. I don't know that we've had this much weather come back to back in a couple of years. Tomorrow's gonna be pretty bad, but I think maybe as things go along, we'll start learning, like, man, we could have just cut the net off because it was Eastern Mississippi, and we could have just disconnected the repeater and went ahead with our net. So there may be opportunities there. The other thing is, a question for John is can all of the net control operators in Shelby County access the Germantown repeater so they can continue with the net? Because it seems like with the DMR and analog bridge, you get better audio quality on both sides if you do the net from the analog side.
Right now, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Ryan can. I know I can. I'm not sure about Todd. So I think most of us can hit the Germantown, and I know I can hit the 14545 as well downtown, if needed.
That Todd's what, K0 MTA?
Yeah. I'm not sure on his capabilities, but I can check with him and see.
Okay.
I don't know how many Delta Club net control operators can hit 443-200.
I don't know the
I would
answer.
need to
I
do
know
it from a vehicle, but and I mean, it's feasible.
so that so let's talk about that for just a second then. So would that be that we would just move the Delta net, nightly net, say there's an active weather net, we'll pick up tomorrow night. Tonight the weather net's superseded, and we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Or do we want to take a little bit of time and try to validate with our net controls who can hit the secondary frequency?
I think it's worth validating and then see if there's a situation where we could unlink.
So that brings, I do have a question for John. Would that be a situation where our net control might jump into the weather net and then ask the weather net control to unlink our repeater so that the weather net control operator knows that that repeater is no longer on net.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way to approach that. It's most
Yeah.
likely
Okay.
going to be handled via DTMF.
Yeah.
Understood.
Tomorrow night, Paul Broom is calling and he can get into the 443-200.
Okay.
I don't know about Ian Lucas, who calls it the next week.
All right. In an effort to try to be conscious of time and to kind of move on just a little bit, could I kind of get a consensus from everybody as to far as what we think it might be, just real quick to go around the Brady Bunch screen? Would we want to move to secondary frequency? So we got basically three options that I hear, and if I miss one, please chime in. We got three options. Option number one is we completely supersede the net, and then the weather net rolls. The net control operator comes on and makes announcements with the weather net control operator's acknowledgement and permission. A couple minutes before, top of hour, a couple minutes after, and 8 or 9 minutes after. So basically 4 sets of announcements just real quick into the weather net to say the Delta net's suspended. Check back with us tomorrow. So that's kind of option one. Option two, again, same set of announcements potentially, but this is before and at the top of the hour, and then move to secondary frequency, maybe with another net control operator or the weather net operator. Net control asked to make the second set of announcements saying that that our nightly net has moved to secondary frequency. So that's option two. And then option three that I've kind of heard we talk about is that we would engage, our net control would come on and engage with the weather net control operator and say, we believe there's no weather in our coverage area. Would you mind unlinking our repeater for our net that we run, so the weather net control operator knows that our repeater is unlinked, and then we would be able to conduct our net, and then potentially we could then contact the weather net operator, net control, and say, hey, we're free, clear, you can link the repeater back in. Did I miss any of the options that were kind of out on the floor?
I think you got them.
All right. Not really to put it to a vote, but just kind of try to reaching a consensus. What does everybody think that the best of those three options are? 1, 2, or 3? If you just want to let us know. I can go around the horn, so I'll put everybody on the spot. Dan?
What 2 is what the one where we'll hold it on 443.2.
Move to the secondary.
I kind of like that option. I mean, we can try it, see how it works.
All right. So I would go with 2. I think exercising the secondary frequency is good. Adam?
2.
Okay. Tyler?
I'm going to go with 2 with the caveat of if the net controller can't hit it, like me, and if there's active hail, I'm not getting out in the car. So they just say, hey, the net's canceled. And that's 100% dependent on the net operator. But 2 to me makes no sense.
Okay. So I think Tyler brings up a good point here. I think our nightly net control operator is going to need to have a little bit of latitude in this discussion and decision making. I'll throw that on the table. Scott, your thoughts? 1, 2, or 3?
Number 2.
All right. Perry?
I'd say 2, but I'd also agree with Tyler. If the net control operator can't hit the University of Memphis, they could just cancel it.
Okay. So I think what Tyler and you're saying is if number 2 is not a viable option for the net control operator, they exercise option number 1.
Correct.
Okay. Joe?
I'd say number 2, plus the fact it might get net control operators to get viable antennas. Because if we look at a disaster, which most likely will be an earthquake, we'll need simplex communications, and having better antennas are much better for simplex.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that at all.
Grab you $100 bill and get over to Harbor Freight at least.
Why, what does Harbor
those
Freight
20-foot
have?
flagpole, 20-foot push-up flagpole.
No.
Fantastic mast. Works great. Jim?
Honestly, if there's a weather net going on, I'm not going to switch over to another repeater. I'm going to stay where I can hear what's going on with the weather. So I don't know. It's a toss up between 1 and 2. I have no
If you have
problem.
a dual
saying
band, you can listen to both.
I'm sorry?
If you have a dual band, you can listen to both.
Yeah, but I'm a
Because
single-sided person.
145.45 and 146.0625 are still have it on.
Yeah. I like just listen
And
to
that's
one
fine.
at a time. But yeah, I understand.
That's fine. So Jim, you would actually say you would prefer option 1.
Honestly, yes. I have no problems with missing out on the nightly net if there's something else going on that I think is, life-threatening.
Yeah. So that's just going around checking, totally understand and value that opinion. Hey, Mike, last but not at the bottom of the
2.
Brady Bunch.
I'll
Option
do
2. Okay. All right, well, everyone, I think that we kind of got to a good consensus there. Perry just kind of summarized that just kind of briefly. I think we all agree that option 2, just to recap that, is really we come on net. I saw an Emma there. Is that we come on net of the weather net. The net control has the discretion if they can hit the secondary frequency for the Delta net, nightly net. The operator has the discretion then to move to the secondary frequency and conduct the nightly net. If the net control operator is unable to hit the secondary frequency for whatever reason, it is within the net control operator's discretion to cancel the nightly net in lieu of the weather net. Did I properly summarize that, everyone?
Yes.
Right.
Good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone. That was a fantastic discussion. I appreciate that. Worked through that and got to a consensus. Joe, can we count on you to take that and kind of write that up, maybe with maybe Perry's help, or and get that out to our net control operator team?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right, with that, Mr. Reiners, thank you for your time. If you decide to join us, you're welcome to stay. If you feel like you need to drop off, we certainly understand that as well. The next item on our new business list was the Huntsville bus trip. Mr. Lowenthal, Joe, you want to take the agenda away?
I've looked into it. The expenses are about just a little bit more than last year. The break point is 35 riders paying. If we the point where I guess the question is where what is our threshold level of paying for paying a subsidy on the bus trip? 28 people, it would require us to pay about $522. 25 people was $729. 30 people would be $327. 20 people would be $1,132 in the hole. So I'm thinking, and who knows what the economy is going to be like and everything with the turmoil that's going on now.
What have we averaged the past couple years, Mr. Joe?
Well, let's see. Hold on a second. In 2024, we had 18. 23, we had 25. 22, we had 28. 21, we had 20. 2020, we had no trip. 2019 was 30. 2018 was 30. 2017 was 32. 2016 was 38.
All right.
20, 25, 28 sounds like a reasonable break point. Prefer to get to 35. That's my thought.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the 25 ballpark.
I was thinking about $750 of club subsidy for that. It's kind of where my thought process was.
I would go for the 500 or less, really. I mean, you know, everybody's going to have to get out and get people to ride on the bus, and that's at $100 a person.
Are we doing 99 or $100 flat?
100.
$100 flat. Okay. The last couple of years, it's been $99.
Well, I don't think there's any difference between 99 and 100. Marketing people say there is, but
Like
when you shell it out of
1/8
your
of a
pocket,
Coca-Cola.
it's a lot easier in payment and everything if it's an even 100.
I think $100 is a nice even number. 99, $100, $100 it is. Let's get after and really kind of promote this. Let's get it promoted. I think that we've got some opportunity to cross promote this over in Obark and Kara and Neshoba and some other clubs that are in the market that might have a lot of interest that to make an opportunity for their members to get to Huntsville that they wouldn't necessarily have had, to make it easy for them to get down there and back. And it'd be a great opportunity. So what are the dates that we need to hit, Joe?
I believe the contract, we do not have a deposit. A deposit is not required as of now. And I think it's probably July the 15th, where we can possibly go to the July meeting. The July meeting is July the 8th. And I will verify it, but if it's July the 8th, then we can either call it off or go for it, depending on how many people we have by July the 8th.
Okay. So I know that we've got the Huntsville bus trip is in the budget. So there's not really anything per se that we need to do on this right now, other than this is an action item that we as a group, we need to actively promote this to our membership, and we need to Hey, Dan. I don't think we need to actually do anything other than actively promote this among the membership and start getting our promotions going. I don't know that it's needing to be announced every night, but I do want to try to make somebody, hey, if somebody can remember it once a week, I think that'd be great. And it didn't all have to fall on Joe as a bird to make the announcement on the nightly nets. If you're on the net and it hadn't been announced, take a minute, call during the announcement and say, hey, don't forget about our Huntsville bus trip, $100, send us a sign up. Joe, I assume you're going to be the clearinghouse for the signups,
Yep.
or do you want that to go somewhere else?
I usually don't start taking reservations until May.
Okay. Then we'll start reservations in May, and we can we've got some options that we can do around that. So, but we can still talk it up. So let's talk it up at the membership meeting. Let's talk it up on the nightly announcements. Not every night, just, once or twice a week, maybe. Just mention it. A lot of fun. If you're at another club's meeting, mention it to their meeting, make an announcement. It's a great opportunity for them to get down to Huntsville without having to worry about driving or bringing back their stuff. They have a lot of bus space to if they want to go buy some stuff or bring stuff back. All right, Joe, thanks for bringing that up and getting all the details worked out on that. We look forward to that. You want to add anything else to that?
No, that's all.
All right. One other thing, I just want to take a minute. I forgot to put it on the agenda, so I just want to say thanks for Joe for a minute on the estate sales that you're working. Let us as a board know what we can do to help you with estate sales. I don't think anyone's here is opposed to or against or has any heartburn around estate sales and how those work. We just need to understand what's going on, when things are happening, and the support that is needed for that. If you could just let us know and keep us in the loop, we'd appreciate it.
Well,
Anybody
the
have any
estate,
questions on that?
well, the estate
Go ahead.
sales, Barry McDonald's equipment, all of the money is going to go to his widow, as well as Pat Lane's equipment.
Understood.
They did too much for the club over the years. And I've said to both of them, if they want to make a donation to the club, we can do that. We will accept a donation, but I want to give everything that's for sale, give it to them, and then let them make the determination of what they want to give back to the club.
Absolutely. Totally support that. I was just giving you the understanding that if anybody has equipment that was donated as of an estate that was donated to the club, that I think we're all, just let us know what you need.
Also, hey, Joe, do you have I saw an email a while
Apologize.
ago, but do you have a list of all the stuff in that we have like preparing to sell?
I sent the list out on the 18th or 19th.
Okay, that's, I thought
That's some of it. There's some new stuff from Pat Lane that'll be getting in on it. And there's some other stuff that's more like junk.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you for that. You might take an opportunity to take the list and recirculate it just to generate interest before the membership meeting. Just to let everybody know that, this is the stuff that's still available. We thank you for all the time and effort and energy that you put into that. Much appreciated.
Okay.
Right. Field day, Tyler.
All right, so what you want me to talk about other than field day?
What I'd like to see is try to have working for is let's try to get our sign up schedule for the membership meeting, whether that's a Google form or something, or just a simple piece of paper to start off with. Let's try to start getting people on the hook for field day. There has been a significant interest in getting some antenna building. I think we could get an antenna building workshop out of this.
Okay.
For field day. I know I talked to Fred Miller over at Neshoba, and he'd be on board with that. I know Ham Hillard would be on board with that. So all of that kind of plays with the field day theme of what we're trying to do for this field day. I did, just to follow up on the conversations, I'm getting strong indications from MARA that they are probably not going to be participating with Delta Club and Neshoba.
Okay.
So it'll probably be Delta and Neshoba, and MRA, I think, is going to go on a different path. That's the indication that I've gotten so far.
Oh, how does it do that?
All right.
With that, so really the biggest thing I really want to kind of start us to do is start getting an interest sheet, getting people to start trying to put something on an interest sheet. If you want to circle up on that later, we can. I think a Google form would be a great way to do that, because you can just put your name on there and say, I want this time slot, and knock it out.
Gotcha. And I'll dive into the rules again over the next week before the next meeting, and make sure that I'm good on how many hours it is. I think it was just winter field day changed. I don't think the ARRL changed, but I'll be up to speed on that before the next meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you much. All right. Free Fest is coming up in 2 weeks, give or take. It's not this next weekend, but the weekend after our membership meeting. Hopefully everybody has encouraged everyone to go to Free Fest and is planning to attend. I know it's not necessarily something that that we as a club are active in, but as hams we are active in. It's a ham fest in our local market. I encourage everybody to go support that, and to lend our sister clubs a hand in bringing a good ham fest to our local market. I think we've got something in Sparks. We've put it on our Facebook page a couple of times. Anybody want to add anything around Free Fest? All right, hearing none, I'll move right along. Adam, I just had a quick note here. If we wanted to circle up on your programming survey, if you had anything to say on that, otherwise I'll yield the floor to you for a minute.
Since we haven't gotten any new responses in a while, I figure we're done with that. So, but it was
Okay.
good information for the future.
Fantastic. All right, we're coming kind of at our year. If everybody's looked at the year in a glance, we're kind of coming up on a kind of a busy period for us. We've got Free Fest coming. We've got Field Day coming. We've got our activities are ramping up for the summer. So I look forward to everybody doing that. I think we've got another community service. I apologize, I didn't look at that, but we'll look at that. So just take a look at that and be cognizant of that. And the last thing I'll say is our 6 p.m. hour that Adam and Dan have done a really good job of kind of doing the Ham 101 slot and kind of running a Ham 101 help desk support for whatever is going out there. That's really been well received so far. I would encourage as many of you as possible that can come early and can help be Elmers in that 6 p.m. slot. Come on early and meet the members and kind of be that help desk membership slot at 6 p.m. Adam, if you want to add anything, or Dan, if y'all want to add anything about that, I certainly welcome your input on that.
Yeah, if we could have more help. I was a little overwhelmed last month just with any tone, because you have to have a different program for each individual model. And each individual firmware, there's the CPS changes, so gets very hands-on very fast. So if anybody has experience with that and would like to come help, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's almost like one Elmer per person, because 1 hour goes by pretty quick when there's an issue.
Harry, I noticed you were unmuting.
I had a question. Are people bringing their own laptops if they want help?
Yeah, that's ideal, but I brought mine and I was gonna try to help people. I thought I'd be able to copy and paste all the talk groups and channels, and because of the Anytone thing, it was not realistic.
I'll play around with some of the software. We may be able to come up with a base CSV file that all the Anytone software can read, because I use a BTEC 6X2, so I'll play around a little bit with that. See if we can
All right.
figure out something that's a little bit easier.
Fair enough. Well, with that, we'll do quick around the table. Any additional comments or observations that each board member might want to make, and we'll try to get us out of here. Apologize for running just a tad long tonight. We had some great discussion. I appreciate everybody. I don't have any additional things to report. I just would love to see everybody put something in Sparks and get it to Mike early. Tyler?
All right, so I guess would now be a good time to bring up a bandpass filter? Bless you. All right.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
I would like to propose that we, as a club, invest in a 10-meter bandpass filter. When we were out at Dad's doing the winter field day, we had everything but that. So looking into the brand that we have, the Array, I found it. They have Array Solutions in stock, has one for $75, 200-watt peak. But I also like having multiple solutions. So DX Engineering has one, another brand for $205, and that's on the cheaper side of the ones that they have. So I wanted to propose that we acquire a 10-meter bandpass filter for $75, and since we're tax-free, I didn't think to get the shipping though. Darn, overlooked that one. But anyway, so I'm not good with Robert's Rules of Order. So there we go. There's a proposal.
I would entertain a motion to purchase a 10-meter bandpass filter from Array Solutions for $75 plus shipping, and I would propose that that would go from our board discretionary fund at this point.
You made the motion, Joe, so you're looking for a second?
Well, I would entertain. I typically try not as the president not to make the motions, but I would entertain that motion.
Okay. All right. You said $75 plus shipping and tax?
Shipping, the tax should be off.
Yeah.
If
we
I
should be
understand that
tax-free,
correctly.
yes.
Yep. So, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right. Seconded by a motion by Mike Harrison to purchase a $75 Array Solutions 10-meter bandpass filter plus shipping. It's made by Mike Harrison and seconded by Adam White. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All those abstaining? All right, Joe abstained. All right, I think the motion carried. We'll add that to the bandpass filter assortment that we have for the club for field day work. Thank you for doing that, Tyler. Perry, you have any additional?
I don't have anything to add, Mr. President.
Thanks, sir. Jim?
I have nothing additional, sir.
Thanks, sir. Adam?
I have nothing else.
Thanks, sir. Scott?
I have nothing else.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all the work that you do at the meetings. Mike?
Nothing to add.
Fantastic. Joe, you anything else?
Yes, training. We had testing last night, had 5 people test and 5 passed. We had 1 student take it on the 7th of March online and passed. The other 6 or 7 are out of town to where they're going to have to take it either the test either locally or online. And I'm hoping I can get the results from them in the next week or so.
Did any of my guys take the test?
No,
Okay. Damn, none of the 5?
they
Wow.
didn't come into Memphis.
Gotcha.
Well, Joe, that's good. That's great success. Thank you for letting us know about that. Sounds like
Two
a
of
good
the
crop of
people,
technicians.
one that tested last night is a teacher at DeSoto Central High School, and she's interested in getting a club going at the school. One of my other students is the principal of a school in the Houston, Texas area, and she's interested in getting something going at her school. So that should be interesting if we get some school activity as a result of the class.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic, Joe. Do we need to reach out to the ARRL Teacher Institute and hook them up, or have you made that connection for them?
I've already talked to them about it. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it for this summer or not. But both of them know about it.
Okay. Very good. Very much appreciate that. So how many total passes does that make over the years that you've gotten? Do you know?
I think about 625 technician, almost 1,000 total.
That's fantastic. Appreciate that effort. That is not a small amount of effort. Thank you, Joe. Anything else, Joe?
No, nothing at this time.
All right. Fair enough. Dan?
I had something and I totally forgot it. Oh, nothing for the board other than Phil from the Weather Service checked into the net a little bit ago, and he was saying between 4 and 6 the weather arrives tomorrow in the Jonesboro area, and probably Memphis from 6 to 11 we're going to get potentially bad weather. But it was awesome of Phil to check in and give a pretty good weather report of what's happening. But I've been listening to the other net. It's still going on. People are just checking in left and right. That's all I have.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan. All right. We don't have any old business. I'd ask if you know somebody that is not a member of our club, ask them to join. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can we
Make a motion
disconnect
that we
from
adjourn.
the weather net from 8-2 so we can call the net?
I think that's not inappropriate to ask that question. I would just interrupt and ask the weather net control operator, just, hey, we're going to drop off since this is a practice net. Anyway, I think we've got a motion to adjourn. I forgot who made it. Who made
I'll
the
make a
motion to
motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
I apologize. I didn't catch it. Seconded by Adam. All in favor, say aye.
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 Fantastic. Everyone, thank you for your time. Very much appreciated. Y'all have a wonderful evening.